Is requiring voter ID racist? Or is it racist to say that if we require voter ID, it's going to be more difficult for you if you have darker skin? I think we know the answer to that. The conversation about voter ID has been going on for a few weeks now. And interestingly, this is something that we seem to be fairly unified across the aisle. 80 to 90% of Republicans are in favor of it, and 70 to 80% of Democrats are in favor of it. So it's interesting to see Democrats in office fight so vehemently against it and put out these talking points about women not being able to change their name and to vote if this law goes into place, and how minorities in particular are going to be affected. This is going to be Jim Crow 2.0, and this is going to be, back to the days of slavery if we put this in place. This is going to be the same as a poll tax. All of these things that they are just hinging their arguments on in hopes that this doesn't pass. But they don't seem to realize how it sounds when it comes out of their mouth. And we're going to see that in action when we look at this discussion today between where a white liberal takes the lead in a little bit of this conversation with minorities on the panel and tells them to their face that this is going to directly affect them. It's going to make it more difficult for them. And not only that, these white liberals have no problem saying it to their faces, and they genuinely seem to believe that Black people, minorities don't know what the internet is, that they don't have an ID. And it's weird because obviously they have been indoctrinated to believe this through public school, through the media, and through their Democrat leaders. And they've absorbed it. So let's listen to how this conversation goes, because obviously it's not going to go well, but that doesn't make it any less funny.
All agree on that point. I just think that the reality is that an act like the SAVE Act is very likely more aimed at voter suppression and at keeping key demographics that the Republican Party does not want voting to not show out and vote. I think very often minority demographics.
That's not true.
No. So this is the thing where the suggestion is it's going to keep the Black vote down. I've got two Black panelists here. Ajwa?
That's not true.
Do you have ID and proof of citizenship?
Yeah, and if I need a copy of my birth certificate, it's just a matter of going online or going up to the department and asking for it and showing my information to get it. To say that it would negatively affect the minority group because they're somehow not educated enough to get these documents is completely outrageous.
Annie?
In my opinion, this should not be a controversial issue.
We all agree on.
And I love how this woman here, she's not having it. I mean, this kid had absolutely no problem saying that this is going to affect minorities. And I know they don't really ever say a skin color or an ethnicity or a race, a very specific race. But it's like, especially these young liberals, they just absorb this stuff and they have no idea. These people are supposed to be the most educated ones. They have no idea how it sounds when it comes out of their mouth. They don't really even seem to understand who it is that they're talking about. This kid had no problem repeating what he's being told, but it didn't seem to occur to him that he is talking to the person sitting right next to him and saying to her and the other guy in the panel that is also Black, this is going to affect you because I've been reliably informed that you don't know how to get an ID, that you don't have access to your birth certificate, and that you aren't capable of getting these things. He has wholeheartedly bought into this idea that this is absolutely Jim Crow 2.0. That this is a poll tax. And I don't know what the other woman was going to say, saying that this isn't supposed to be a controversial issue, but I think we can understand where she was going with that because it's not.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of Black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
So there you have it. I mean, even CNN is reporting that this is not a controversial topic. And with those kind of numbers, I mean, we've got white people, Latino people, and Black people saying that this is a good idea. Others have said this is going to have to force Democrats to admit that they don't care what their constituents want. They don't care what the American people want because everybody's saying that they want the same thing And they're still fighting against it. They're still painting it as racism. And by the way, this should wake you up to the fact that Democrats will use the word racism, or they will throw women's intelligence under the bus, or whatever it is. They will insult whoever they have to insult to make their point before they will admit that they have other reasons for not wanting this, for admitting that they really don't care what their constituents want, no matter how often they say that they're fighting for the people, they're fighting for the middle class, that they're the party trying to save democracy. They don't care what we want. They truly, truly don't. And I loved this conversation on CNN as well between Scott Jennings and Abby Phillips. And I think Ana Navarro is there as well, which is always a treat. But they go on to insult people that live in red states as well. Just listen to this.
It's not, it actually, there's an argument to be made that red state voters, women, poor white voters could be just as.
I know you think they're dumb too, don't you? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I hear these arguments. I've heard Democrats.
I'm going to continue this, but immediately when she says red state voters, she's automatically saying poor people, less educated people. Like that's what Democrats genuinely think of people that live in red states, that people that don't vote like them. That's their view of us, which is why you have so many people on the left, liberals, that constantly talk down to us, that are so condescending, that truly think that they are the people of, that they are the educated, that they are the elite, that they are better than us, because this is how their party portrays us to them. So she just insulted all of red voters, being like, well, this is going to hurt poor people too. This is going to hurt those people that live down in the bayou and that only have like 3 of their teeth and that just go out and, hunt squirrels all day and eat them for dinner. Aren't you concerned about them, Scott?
It's all we want.
No, please don't. No, you listen.
There's a deflection from talking about Donald Trump's racism.
I'm actually
there.
You should be thinking about your constituents or your.
Yeah, I think they're smart enough to figure out how to register to vote.
Hold on. Most Americans don't have a passport. Many Americans don't have access to their birth certificate. Many women, a majority of women who change their names for marriage have to provide additional proof that they've changed their legal names in order to register to vote.
I have heard Democrats
Scott,
make these same arguments.
Why don't you actually respond to the substance of what I'm saying?
I am. And
as
the substance
opposed
is
to
this.
making this about something that it's not.
You're saying,
it's not just about voter ID.
Married women,
it's also about
black
who has
voters,
access
and rural people are too stupid to figure out how to register to vote.
That is not what
Democrats have been making this argument all the time.
That's not what she said.
Are you saying they can't figure out how to vote?
Let me offer.
Are you saying they can't figure out how to vote?
Exact same argument.
It is a fact that a majority of Americans do not have passports. Many Americans, including white people, do not have their original birth certificate or access to it.
You didn't say what you said. Rural.
I would love to offer the proof on this.
Yeah, because that is also relevant. It doesn't matter to me where people
I guess
live.
I have a little more faith in
do they have
rural
access?
America and married women than you do.
I don't know why you think why you're making this about whether you're smart or not.
You're saying that they can't vote, that they can't figure out how to vote.
She keeps telling Scott to talk about the substance of her argument. That is what he is talking about. She's talking about this surface level. Just listen to the words that I'm saying, but don't think about what I'm implying. Just think about me saying that they don't have access to these things, that they don't have their passport, that they don't have their birth certificate. But when you're talking about whether or not you have access, you are also talking about whether or not you are smart enough to gain access to those things. This isn't like 1950 when we have to go down to the courthouse or we have to go down to our government buildings and ask for a physical copy of these things. Most of these things you can get online. And most people understand that, which is why most people are in favor of this, because they can access those things. They know how to change their ID. They know how to get the documents that they need, whether they live out in a back road, 50 miles away from civilization, or whether or not they live in the middle of New York City. They know how to access these things. So that is why she can say, well, it's just about access. We're just thinking about, whether people have in their hands at that time, whether or not they can reach into a box in their house and get it, or reach into their desk and get it. But she's saying that if you don't have those things, you are not smart enough to figure out how to get them. And that is what Scott is talking about. Just to close out this whole conversation, this is a conversation that Caitlin Bennett had with some people on the street. Where white people genuinely seem to believe, or white liberals, I should say, that black people don't have IDs. And black people are like, what are you talking about? So this is fascinating.
Do you know what voter ID is?
Yeah, of course I know what voter ID is. It's not necessary. Voter fraud in this country is not an issue, and it never really has been.
Do you?
Okay, before we continue, these are the same people that said for 4 years, well, I should say 5 years now, 2 terms of President Trump, that he absolutely stole the election, that he rigged the election, that he cheated, and all of these things. Pretty much any time a Republican president has won, Democrats have spent the entire time saying that they cheated and that they stole the election. And now that voter ID is required, now that we have this law, they're like, what? Our elections are totally secure. It's totally, what are you talking about? We have the best, the most secure elections on the planet. We have never had a problem. Every election has been legitimate. We don't need extra security measures. We don't need to make sure that people prove who they are in our elections because they're that secure. Really?
You guys have an ID?
Yeah.
An ID?
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd restrict probably minority rights. People don't have access to getting IDs, so that would have an effect if it did pass.
Do you think it's racist to ask every American citizen to present an ID when they go to vote?
No. Republicans, their current strategy is to add as many barriers as possible to voting, which is what happened in the Jim Crow era. That's where that comparison comes from. And I don't think it's wrong to make comparisons. Now,
Do you think it's a fair comparison?
I think it's a fair comparison.
How would it affect minorities?
Oh God, I hit the talking point.
Do you have an ID?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Do you have an ID?
Yeah.
Do you have an ID?
I have an ID.
You have an ID. Okay, all right. Do you have an ID?
I do.
So you have an ID though.
I have an ID. I just don't believe in paperwork. I think it would put too much strain on people who are working class who aren't able to file it.
Who wouldn't have the money for an ID?
People who are low income. That's a very straightforward issue.
Well, those same people have to have an ID to apply for government benefits.
Okay. They said that about me?
Yeah.
Like a brown person?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty racist.
As a brown man, do you know where the DMV is to get a license?
Absolutely.
Need I say more? Need I say more? And this just also proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, no matter how liberals tell us how educated and informed they are, that they don't talk to anybody outside of their bubble. They don't investigate the talking points that they're given. They're just told these things and they repeat them. But it's like, maybe I should go ask a minority if they have an idea, if they have an ID, if they know where the DMV is, if they know how to access these documents, if they have a passport. Maybe I should ask those questions before I go out and make a racist of myself and speak for them and tell everybody else what they can and cannot do. And of course, these are the people that call us racist when we're the ones that believe that regardless of your skin color, regardless of your economic status, regardless of what you've got going on in your life, that you can do these things, that you can do what you need to do, that is required of you, that is asked of you, whether it be get an ID, whether it be get an education, whether it be follow the career that you want, that your skin color has no bearing on the choices that you are capable of making and the path that you are capable of pursuing and the things that you need to do to function in life. Skin color has nothing to do with it, but skin color is everything to the left. Everything. And that is why they are so comfortable saying these things. And to them, it doesn't sound racist because it's normal. It's a normal thought process. Anyway, leave your comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. As you guys know, we always end with Charlie Kirk. So keep it real and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Tell me why you're against voter ID.
Absolutely. Great question. So you have to start first with those that have the most difficult time going and voting. For example, native tribe folks, you have poor and disenfranchised folks. And when you include voter ID as well, you're adding an additional barrier to those individuals.
Should I have to show an ID to board an airplane?
You should have to show an ID. Yes.
So why do we want to secure the identity of those on airplanes, but not those that cast precious votes? I think it's astonishing that in order to rent a movie, board an airplane, in order to even sometimes get a dinner reservation, you need to prove identification, but to vote, we don't care to secure identity, which I think is outrageous.